Hello everyone, welcome to the next e-lecture series. Uh, Myself, Professor Neha Sharma from Department of Computer Engineering, Kekewag Institute of Engineering, Education and Research, Nashik. We are NAC A accredited and NBA accredited for 8 branches. In this second e-lecture series, we are actually going to discuss one of the laboratory assignments, which is Laboratory Practice 1, and it is a course from final year Computer Engineering 2015 course of Savitribai Phule Pune University, which has a teaching scheme of 4 lectures per week or 4 hours per week, and it has a term of 50 marks and practical of 50 marks. For this particular laboratory course, you have 3 companion courses. The first one is data analytics, which is a compulsory subject, and the second one is HPC, that is high performance computing, and the third one is AINR, that is artificial intelligence and robotics. So these 3 are the companion courses. That is, in this particular laboratory we are going to discuss the assignments related to these 3 companion courses. So in this lecture we are going to discuss the first assignment of data analytics section. So before we move on to the assignment, let us see the objectives and outcomes. So the objective of this particular assignment is to visualize and display the summary statistics of the iris flower dataset. At the end of this particular lecture or discussion on the assignment, we will be able to identify how many number and types of features are there in the given dataset. We will be able to compute and display the summary statistics for each of the features that are available in the dataset. Then we will also be able to plot a histogram for each of these features. We will be able to create a box plot for these features, and we will also be able to compare the distributions and identify what are the outliers in this particular dataset. So let us start now. This is the problem statement of our assignment, which says that we have to download the iris flower dataset from the link which is available on the screen that you can see. So from this you can download the dataset of iris flower. This particular dataset is a .csv file, that is comma separated values, which will be considered as the input file for the assignment. So what we actually have to do is, using Python or R, in this case we will discuss both of them, we have to perform the following. That is, the first one is we have to identify, or we have to find out how many features are there in the given dataset and what are the types of these features. That is, the features can be numeric or nominal, that we will see. Then second, we have to compute and display the summary statistics. Now what are these summary statistics? It can be minimum value, maximum value, mean value, range, standard deviation, variance and percentiles. Then next is, we have to create a histogram for each of the features and we have to plot that histogram. And the last one is, we have to create a box plot and also identify the outliers. So we will see how to perform this particular assignment. We will see the sample code and we will see how to execute this code also using R and Python. So first let us discuss about the assignment before we move on to the actual code. The input, as I have already mentioned, the input is iris flower dataset. It is iris.csv file. CSV stands for comma separated values. Now what is there in this particular dataset, we will see. There are actually 5 attributes or features, you can say, in this particular dataset. The first one is sepal length in centimeters, second is sepal width in centimeters, third is petal length in centimeters, fourth is petal width in centimeters, and the last one is the class. That means depending on the previous 4 features, the flower or iris flower can be either iris setosa, or it can be iris versicolor, or it can be iris virginica. So the last column is our class, that is which type of iris flower it is. Okay, so this is all about the input dataset. I'll show you the input file. You can see here. You can see here, this is our input file: sepal length, sepal width, petal length, petal width and species. Okay, So this is our data set which is input to our program. Okay. Then what will be the output? Now, as we have seen in the problem statement, we have to display three things basically. The summary information, which includes the mean, minimum value, maximum value, mean, standard deviation, variance, percentiles, and so on. Then second, we will see in our output the histogram which is plotted for each of the features, and the last one is the box plot that we have to plot. Okay. For this assignment, as we have already discussed, the programming language that we are going to discuss here or use for performing this assignment is either Python or R. So here I will discuss both the codes, Python also and R also. So now let us begin with the actual demonstration. First we will discuss the R code for this. So you can see here, this is the source code pane. Okay. So here I have already done the program. So we'll discuss it line by line and I will show you the output accordingly. So in the first line you can see here, df is a variable that I am creating which stands for data frame. Okay. And in this I am going to read my input file using the function read.csv. I am using the function read.csv because the input file is a CSV file. Okay. So read.csv is the function in R that is used to read the CSV file, and in parenthesis I am going to specify the name of the input file which is iris.csv. Okay. So if you select this line and if you just say here run, this icon, if you click of run, it will run only the selected line. So I have selected only the first line which I have explained. So after executing, you can see here, this is my console. Okay. In the left side, bottom left, you can see this is my console. So the line is executed. Okay. So I have simply read the file. I have not displayed the file. That is why you cannot see anything here as an output. So if I want to view the data set, then the next command is view in bracket df. Df is the frame in which I have read the input file. So view in bracket df will display the data set. So if I run this particular line, you can see here, yes, you can see here my df is displayed. That is, my input file in a data frame is displayed. Okay. So this is the data set. Now as we know, in the problem statement we have to display the summary statistics. Okay. So for printing or for displaying the summary and the structure of the data set, the next command that we are going to use is summary in bracket df. That is, I want to display the summary information of my data frame. Okay. Similarly, the next function that we are going to see is str in bracket df. What str displays is nothing but the structure of that particular data frame. We will see the difference between summary and structure. So let us first execute the line summary in bracket df. Yes, you can see here the summary information is being displayed. Now what is displayed in the summary? You can already see min indicates the minimum value of that particular column. First quartile is the Q1 value. Okay, we'll discuss what is Q1, Q2. Then this is the median value. What is median? What is median? Yes, median is the middle value of that particular column. Then mean is the average value. Then third quartile is the Q3 value. And then this is the max. That is the maximum value of that particular column. So likewise, this summary information is displayed for each of the column. Okay. Now you can see here the summary information is only displayed of the first 4 columns and not the last column of species. Why is this so? Because species is not a numerical variable or numerical attribute. It is a categorical attribute, right? So here it is showing length is equal to 150. That indicates that there are 150 records in our input file. The same thing can be observed here in the environment pane in the top right corner. You can see here. Okay. In df you have 150 observations of 5 variables. So 150 observations indicates there are 150 rows or 150 records in our data set, and 5 variables indicates the 5 features or the 5 columns that we have in our data set. Okay, so this is what is the summary information which is being displayed. Okay, now we you need to understand properly what is this mean, mode, median, Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, so basically mean, as I have already told you, mean is nothing but the average value. Median is nothing but the middle value. Now there is a difference between average value and middle value. I hope you get that. And mode is the number that appears most frequently. Okay, now what is Q1, what is first quartile, what is second quartile, what is third quartile, what is fourth quartile, that we will discuss. Okay, first, for understanding those quartiles value, you need to understand what is Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, so Q1 is nothing but the middle number between minimum value and the median. Okay, that is minimum value and the middle value. That value is nothing but Q1. Okay, similarly Q2 is nothing but median, that is the middle value. So median is equal to Q2 simply. What is Q3? Q3 is nothing but it is the middle number between median and maximum number of that particular column. Okay, so depending on the values of Q1, Q2, Q3, we have actually 4 quartiles, or we can define the 4 quartiles. What are these? First quartile is nothing but the lowest 25% of the values. Second quartile is between 25.1 to 50% of the values. Third quartile is 51 to 75% of the values, and fourth quartile is 75 to 100% of the values. So in short, we can say that in first quartile we will have all values from smallest to Q1. In second quartile we will have all the values from Q1 to Q2. In third quartile we will have all values from Q2 to Q3, and in fourth quartile we will have values above Q3 till the largest value. Okay, so I hope what is this quartiles and what is mean, median, that is what you have understood. Okay, so that is nothing but the summary information. So we have covered the first part, that is it is displaying the summary information. Okay, then next we will see what is this structure of the class. So let us execute this. Yes, so what you can see here in this, it is showing 150 observations of 5 variables, that is number of records and number of attributes in our data set, and it is showing the first 4 attributes are of type number and the last attribute is of type CHR, that is character. It is a categorical variable. So we have already seen the data set, it contains the class of that particular species. Okay, so this is nothing but the structure of the data frame, that is what type of variables are there in our data set. So you can see here first 4 attributes or first 4 features are numerical, and the last attribute is not numerical, it is a categorical attribute. Okay, so that is what is the use of str function, that is it displays the structure. Okay, now as we have seen in the problem statement, we have to display the minimum, maximum, mean, range, standard deviation, variance and percentiles. Okay, so this information we have to display. So how to do that? Let us see first how to display the minimum value. Now minimum value I have to display from each of the columns. Okay, now actually this minimum value is already being displayed using when you have used the summary function. Okay, but still if you want to only display the minimum value of each of the columns, then in that case there are multiple ways you can do that. Okay, first is you can use the sapply function. Okay, you can use apply function, you can simply use the min function, or you can do it using a for loop. So we will see that one by one. If you want to use apply function, you have to simply use apply in bracket. On what you have to apply? You have to apply on the data frame. Okay, now minimum value obviously you will get only for numeric attributes and not the categorical attributes. That is why you can see here in square bracket the you can see in the comma -5. -5 indicates you want to ignore the last column. Okay, that is the fifth column you want to ignore, and on rest of the data set you want to apply this function. Okay, now what you have to do, you have to apply the min function. Okay, so this is one way to display the minimum value. What is another way? I want to display minimum value of each of the column one by one. If I want to do this one by one, then simply a way out is you can use min as the name of the function. In bracket you can name the data set, and in bracket you can also use df here. So either you use iris or you use df, it is one and the same. And in square bracket, if I want to display the minimum value of the first column, then I simply write comma 1. If I want to display the minimum value of the second, then comma 2, and so on so forth. So as you can see here, if I do this, I will get this output. That is, individually I will find the minimum value of each of the column. Okay, then third way to do this is using a for loop. So what we are doing here, let's say I am creating a vector of length 4, and it is saved in a variable save, and then I am using a for loop for I in 1 to 4, that is for I in the range of 1 to 4, I will take values 1, 2, 3 and 4. So initially I is 1, so save of I is equal to, I am using the min function on I. Okay, so I will first display the minimum value of the first column when I is 1, and I will display it. Okay, then I will use for second value, then third value, and then fourth value. Okay, and then I will simply display this save. Okay, so I will display all the 4 values of minimum from each of the columns. So this is another way to do that. And one more way to do the same thing is using sapply function. So again it is one and the same thing. Sapply, you have to apply this on the data frame, ignoring the last column, that is why -5 here, and which function I want to apply is nothing but min, so that is why min. So now let us see the output of this. Let me run this for you. Yes, so you can see here minimum value from each of the columns is being displayed except the last column because it is categorical variable. Is this clear? Okay, so this is for min. Same thing you can do for max, only just you have to change the name of the function, max, then mean, then range, then for standard deviation you have SD, and for variance you have VAR. So let us run this one by one. So I will now run for maximum, mean and range. All three we are going to run together because it is just a matter of change in the name of the function. So you can see here one by one, these are the maximum values of each of the column, then this is the mean value, these are the means, okay, or average value of each of the columns or attributes. Then this is the range of the values. Range means what? From minimum to maximum. All the values that lie in that particular attribute lies between this range 4.3 to 7.9 for the first attribute. Similarly between 2 to 4.4 for second attribute. Similarly 1 to 6.9 for the third one, and 0.1 to 2.5 for the fourth one. So that is the output of the range function. Now let us see the next, that is standard deviation and variance. So this is the output of standard deviation, it is being calculated, and this is the output of variance. So we have already studied these concepts in the theory lectures, what is standard deviation and what is variance. Now the last part of this is to display the percentiles. Okay, so again this percentiles is related to your quartiles, first quartile, second quartile, third quartile and fourth quartile. So let us see how to display this. So let us say I am creating a variable or a sequence which has 4 values 1, 2, 3, 4, and for n in num, that is n can take values 1, 2, 3 or 4, cat column n, that is I am going to display the values one by one. So column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4 and so on. Okay, what I want to display? So print quantile information df of n, so it will first display df of 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 and so on so forth. What are the probabilities in this case? So it lies between 0 0.25, 0.5, 0.75 and 1. So as we have discussed about the quartile information, so first 25%, then 50%, then 75% and then 100%. So it is the same thing in terms of probability. Okay, so let us run this and see what exactly do we get in the output as a percentile. Yeah, I'm sorry for the disturbance. Yeah, let us run this. Yes, you can see here the entire information is being displayed. Now what is this information? You can see here for column 1, 0% means the minimum value, which is 4.3. Then 25% means 0, this is the value of Q1. 50% means it is the value of median, that is the middle value. 75% means it is the value of our Q3. Okay, and 100% means the maximum value for that particular column. So this is nothing but the percentile information which is needed. Means actually we are trying to display minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3 and maximum value. So that is what exactly is the meaning of this percentile. Okay, now last part of our assignment is to display histogram and box plot. Okay, so for that purpose we will use hist function. So what you can see here is for loop for n in num, that is n will again take values between 0 to 1 to 4. So it will take values 1, 2, 3 and 4. So every time we are going to plot the histogram of different attributes. So for the function that we are going to use to plot the histogram is hist df in bracket comma n. Okay, because we have to display it column wise. Main is equal to histogram. This main we use to give title to our histogram. So the title that I am giving is only histogram. That is the title of my histogram. Sys dot sleep of 5 is because I want to display the histogram of all the 4 attributes with some delay in between. Otherwise we won't be able to identify or recognize the histogram of different variables. So for that purpose sleep function is being used. So let us execute this and see the output. Yeah, now to see the output of any type of plot, you have to go in this plot tab. So this is the histogram of the first attribute, that is sepal length, sepal width, then we will get for petal length and petal width. So this is nothing but the output. Okay, so that is plotting of the histogram. And last one is plotting of the box plot. So for that purpose the function that we use is box plot df 1:4. Okay, now here I want to display the box plot of all the 4 attributes in a single plot. That is why it is 1:4, not 1 by 1. Okay, which was in the case of histogram. In histogram we have displayed one histogram for every attribute. Here we have to display the, in box plot I want to display the box plot of all the 4 attributes in a single plot. So that is why it is 1:4. And the name that I want to give to my plot is box plot of iris. So let us execute this line. So you can see here this is the box plot. Now what is this box plot? What this means? This middle black line is our median. Is this clear? Okay, then this is our Q1, this is our Q2, this is our Q3, this is minimum, this is maximum. Is this clear? So these lines indicates our percentile ranges or quartiles. Okay, now in this, while we create a box plot, there was one more thing that we have to do in the assignment is we have to identify the outliers. Okay, So outliers are nothing but the values that are different from the other values, okay, which does not which show a lot of variation if you compare it with the other values for that particular column. So how do you see outliers in a box plot? Yes, wherever you see this kind of bubbles, you can see here for sepal width, you can see here bubbles. Yes, okay. So these are nothing but outliers, variations in your data. So you only have outliers for the second attribute, that is sepal width. You don't have any outliers for the first, third and fourth attribute. So I hope this is clear to you. This is the R code for our assignment. So I hope this is clear to you. I have executed every line so that you are comfortable and you understand and follow whatever is being taught. So this is the assignment. So this is how you have to do it in R. Then we'll also quickly run through the code of Python to do the same thing. I have already done it for you. I'll simply run it. So import pandas as PD. Pandas is a library that you use whenever you want to deal with data frames. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. Matplotlib you use whenever you want to use plots, okay, and PLT is an alias that we are going to create, that we will need. Then df is equal to pd.read_csv, and this is the path that I am giving for my input file. So I am trying to read my input file and store it in a data frame called df, okay. So this is where I have read my input file. Then next is I want to display the dataset information. What you have done in R using summary, in case of Python you are going to do it using info and describe, okay. So I'll quickly run through this part of the code so that you understand what is displayed in info and describe. Yes, so you can see here, this is the dataset information, that is information. So these are my columns, okay, there are 5 columns. Non-null count means all the values are non-null values. That means there are no values which are 0 or null in each of these attributes. That is why it is showing non-null. All 150 values or records are there for each of these variables which are non-null. Then D type indicates the data type of each of these attributes, which is for first 4 it is float 64, and for the last attribute, which is categorical, it is of type object, okay. So this is the information of the dataset. The next command that we have run is df.describe. It displays the statistical information, which is nothing but this. So same thing which was displayed there using summary, here it is being displayed using describe function, df.describe. So you can see here mean value, standard deviation, minimum 25%, 50%, 75% and max. So the entire statistical information is being displayed using the function df.describe, okay. Then I want to identify what are the type of variables that I am having, how much memory it requires, for example, this is just for your information, and whether there are any missing values, and if let us check for missing values. So let us run this. Using the first df.dtypes, we will display what is the data type of each of the attributes. df.memory_usage will give us how much memory is required for each of the attributes. Then we are going to check whether there are any missing values in our data set using the third part, df.apply num underscore missing, axis is equal to 0. Axis is equal to 0 indicates we are trying to address the rows. When I say axis is equal to 1, we are trying to address the columns, okay. So we'll run this. Yes, so you can see here, this is the data type information which was already displayed before using describe function. So first 4 are of float 64 type, and next last attribute is of type object. Then this is the memory usage for each of the attributes, and this is missing value check for each of the attribute. There are no missing values in our data set, that is why it is displaying 0, 0, 0, okay. Then next we want to plot the histogram. So the simplest way to plot histogram is this. You simply use df.hist, and for which column you want to display, you simply write in parentheses column is equal to name of the column. So in this case I want to display histogram separately for all the 4. So let us try to execute this. So you can see here 4 histograms are being displayed. This one is for petal width, then you have this one for sepal width, sepal length, sepal width, petal length and petal width. So I have displayed the histogram. Okay, and last part of our assignment is to plot the box plot. So for that we use df.plot.box. I want to give the name to my box plot. So title is equal to all features with outliers, and to display that particular box plot we are going to use plt.show. Okay, so let us try to run this as well. Yes, so here you can see the box plot of the 4 features, and this is the name, all features with outliers, which I have given in the title part of my function. So that is all about the assignment. So we have also seen the code in Python, and now we move on to the presentation. Now for this particular assignment, what you have to do is, I have created some test cases that I want you to perform, and there are also some sample problem statements and some questions for oral that I want you all to prepare for. So I will simply show you the files. So in the first file, that is test cases, what exactly I have to do I will show. So these are the test cases. So you have to display the summary statistics without using sapply. So I have already discussed this test case while explaining the code. I have to display the summary statistics without using sapply. Okay, then you have to check if there are any missing values in the data set. This part I have covered in the Python code. So similarly you have to check how to check missing values in your R code. And if there are no missing values in your data set, we have seen that actually in our data set there are no missing values, so you have to introduce some missing values, and you have to again run the summary statistics and observe what is the change in the summary, histogram and the box plot, whether you are able to display the summary and histogram and box plot with missing values, or you have to do something about it. That is what I want you to think about. Okay, so these are the sample 3 test cases that you have to perform. Code is already discussed. Then these are the sample problem statements related to the assignment. Now you have performed this by coding in R or using Python. Now as we are already aware of, there are certain tools that you can make use of where you don't actually have code, you simply have to load the data set, and there are already various features and functionalities available in the tools. So one such tool is Weka. So what I want you to do is, you download and install Weka, and you perform the same assignment on Weka without coding anything. Okay, because Weka will take care of all the functionalities. Simply I just want you to be aware of how it can be done using Weka. That is why that is the first problem statement. In the second problem statement, what I want you to do is same thing, same assignment you have to perform, but using any one open source visualization tool. Now in one of the lectures of data analytics, that is where I have discussed various visualization tools, I have discussed n number of open source visualization tools. So I want you to download, install any one of the open source tool, and I want to see how you can do this assignment on that particular tool. So that is your second problem statement. Then third, fourth and fifth, I have not made any changes to the problem statement. I have only changed the data set. So, and the link also is provided. So I want you to download the respective data set and perform the same, run the same code, only you have to change the name of the CSV file. Okay, so these are the sample problem statements related to this particular assignment. And the last one is questions for oral. I have prepared around 20 questions related to this particular assignment. So I want you to prepare for this, so that and if once you are done with actually coding in Python and R of this particular assignment, if you are able to do all the test cases, if you are able to perform all the 5 sample problem statements, and if you have prepared for questions for oral, then I suppose that you have actually completed and understood the first assignment of laboratory practice 1. So I hope this is very clear to you what exactly is expected in this particular assignment. So that is all from my side. So I thank you so much for patient listening, and if you still have any queries, then I want you to mail your queries to ngsharma.kkvak.edu.in, and thank you so much for